In 1987, Pope John Paul II wrote an encyclical in which he expressed his concern for what he called, quote, a serious problem of unequal distribution of the means of subsistence meant for everybody. He went on to say that this unequal distribution of the world's resources, which God gave so that every human person could live in dignity, was not, quote, the fault of the needy people, and even less through a sort of inevitability dependent on natural conditions. In other words, God has given humanity a wonderful creation that can answer the basic needs of every human person for food and shelter. Yet, many are dying because their basic needs are not being met, and this is not their fault or the result of something that is wrong with creation. Why are there such inequalities that lead to the untimely deaths of millions every year? Because of sin. In response to this situation, Pope John Paul called for conversion and solidarity. Solidarity is not, in his words, quote, a feeling of vague compassion or shallow distress at the misfortunes of so many people. It is a firm and persevering determination to commit oneself to the common good, that is to say, to the good of all and of each individual, because we are all really responsible for all, end quote. He even went on to say that what was needed was, quote, the reform of the international trade system and the reform of the world monetary and financial system. In 2009, Pope Benedict expressed a similar concern and said that when business and ethics are separated, we end up with dysfunctional financial and economic systems which lead to the exploitation of the human person rather than his or her authentic development. He said, quote, the economy needs ethics in order to function correctly, an ethics which is people-centered. It's important to keep these teachings of recent popes in mind because many people have recently reacted negatively to Pope Francis' apostolic exhortation, in which he shares his own concern for the inequalities of our world that lead to much suffering. Yet, his teaching is right in line with that of both Pope John Paul II, Pope Benedict, and even popes since Pope Leo XIII, who wrote his great social encyclical Rerum Novarum in 1891. And so, Pope Francis, in Evangelii Gaudium, the Joy of the Gospel, wrote, the current financial crisis can make us overlook the fact that it originated in a profound human crisis, the denial of the primacy of the human person. We have created new idols. The worship of the ancient golden calf has returned in a new and ruthless guise in the idolatry of money and the dictatorship of an impersonal economy lacking a truly human purpose. The worldwide crisis affecting finance and economy lays bare their imbalances and, above all, their lack of real concern for human beings. End quote. Notice Pope Francis speaks of a profound human crisis. That's sin, which leads us to view other people as objects, as means to an end, rather than as ends in themselves, because they, made in the image and likeness of God, have a sacred dignity. And so we join Pope Francis and millions of people around the world this month in praying that all people may promote authentic economic development that respects the dignity of all peoples.